Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the LiveWire. It is the first week of school of the 2015-16 academic year, and there's no better time to talk about the state of campus safety, and we're going to do that today with our very special guest, Lieutenant Brian Thomas of Police and Public Safety. Lieutenant Thomas is also the Emergency Management Coordinator for Police and Public Safety. And in a few moments, we're going to be talking about a very special new product that is aimed at getting all of the campus community, and in particular our students, tuned in to all things safety on campus. It's an app, and we're going to do a walkthrough and get a better hands-on sense of what awaits you if you sign up for the app. It's called LiveSafe, and in just a minute we're going to get to that. Chief Jeff Baker was not able to join us, but when you're chief and when you also happen to be University Police Chief of the Year here in the United States of America, it's all right, Chief. We'll catch up with you later. But as first weeks of an academic year ago, how have things been going out there?
So far, it's the usual stuff you see the first week of school. You know, traffic's it's kind of a mess right now, but you know that usually takes a while to sort itself out, and you know people learn different ways out of here, and you know little things come up, and then of course on Monday, first day of classes, we had big things come up. But that's so is the life. You know, it's police work, and you can't predict the future. So.
Yeah, I think one of the things we like to point out, at least in university communications, that a lot of the problems we have that are related to growth would be a different kind of problem if we were in the opposite scenario. So, I mean, there's a lot to be thankful for here at UNC Charlotte, and the fact that we're on this trajectory into growth and expansion, and we're the hottest thing in the state system right now, yeah. So that's great. So it does seem today, walking across campus here to the studio, that things are in a groove now. I think it helps that the humidity's gone. You're not so miserable out there, but it feels like we adjust pretty quickly to that first week, don't we?
Yeah, like I said, it's we know it's coming, and so it's to be expected, and then, like I said, natural growing pains of a brand new school year, and just a lot of new people coming.
Yeah. One of the things that you all have been doing in police and public safety is really been emphasizing the sense of community here and really trying to get more of a two-way engagement and what it means to develop a safe campus and to be aware of what to do in case of emergency, what services are available. And I want to take a look on the web. We're going to go over to emergency management. Mm-hmm. Specifically, and emergency management on the web is just at emergency.uncc.edu. And on this site, over here on the left column, you see a whole range of opportunities to find out more about being safe on campus. And you see here I have the Live Safe button already lit up, because we're going to talk about that in a minute. One thing I want to point out too, on this site, if you click down here on emergency cards, you get a description of a very handy card, and you notice the date here where it says 2014, and as Lieutenant Thomas explained to me, that is because that's when it was last updated. It is all still accurate, but
everything's still accurate. It just we update them about every 2 years or so.
Business card size. We're not going to zoom in on this, but if you want to get a quick shot of this, you can see this is a nice hard plastic card, like a credit card. And then to go back to the website, you see all the information that's on it, all the key numbers and what to do when you hear an alarm, the outdoor siren, campus evacuation procedures. There's even a QR code. And this is something that's very handy, and everybody who's part of the UNC Charlotte community ought to have one of these cards in their pocket. And if they don't, where do they get one?
Well, my email address is on there. Like I said, we want to put one of those in the hands of every faculty, staff, student on this campus, and like I said, they can email me, tell me how many they need, and we'll even run them over to them.
All right, and that is, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but there's an old school
Yep,
product here. You have a card that goes in my wallet, and I have one, and I'm
yes, we have.
happy to have it.
One thing we don't count on technology for. We still have the old plastic card. Well, and we've mixed that up with what we're going to talk about in a minute, which is the latest in technology.
Right, and everything these days, there's no single solution to anything, particularly when it comes to communication in the year 2015 and beyond. So what we really want to zero in on now is a new app, and it's called LiveSafe. And how do you sum up the intent of the LiveSafe app before we take a look at it?
It's basically a mobile blue light. I mean, you see the 300 plus blue lights we have on campus, and we're trying to put one in your pocket. So you can reach out to us anytime, any place, nowhere, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to take a look at the range of services that are contained in this app. And this is a product that we have now. Is it simple enough to say that it's just part of our ongoing efforts to be proactive as far as getting people engaged in safety, or do you point to incidents where you said, boy, we really need a solution like this, or is it just kind of an ongoing get ahead of it?
It's part of our overarching attempt to keep campus safe. You talked about the sirens, you talked about the cards, everything serves a purpose. And we still have text messaging, and it's on the same website, the emergency.unc.edu website you referenced. We still want people to sign up for text messaging, but it's much to the point you made that text messaging is great, but it's a one-way communication. It's a way for the police department to talk to you. Now with LiveSafe, we have something a little different. Now, not only can we talk to you, the students or faculty, they now can talk to our dispatch, which is 24/7, 365.
It's my hope as folks watch this demonstration now that at any time they're going to think, boy, I really need that. So let's say it now and let's say it throughout. How do you get it if you want it?
Oh, it's very simple. If you go to the website, it'll explain all the download instructions. It's in the App Store.
All right.
And all thing you have to do is it's free. It does not cost you a dime. The university has picked up the entire check on that one. You just download it to your phone. You put your email address in there, and then it's going to ask you to select a university. It is GPS located, so if you are in the immediate area, it's going to say, do you want to use UNC Charlotte? If you're standing somewhere else, it's going to ask you if you want to use something else, but then you have to go through the pick list. But just
definitely a tool for faculty and staff.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
We want everybody to have it. And anybody that's affiliated with the university in any way, moms, dads, whatever, they can all have it. It's fine.
All right. Well, let's go to our iPad here that we have wired up, and we're going to put that signal through the LiveWire, and we'll see how live it actually is. But we have no reason to doubt that the Wi-Fi is going to work here in our studio, do we? No, just kidding. But let's take a look. So this is already loaded on this iPad. So this is the icon right here, and let's click and enter the world of LiveSafe. Now this is, I have already signed up for this, and I've already explained that I want to do UNC Charlotte. So that's why I'm doing UNC Charlotte on LiveSafe. And it's really just that simple. So this very first screen, you're given a set of options that would appear to be obvious and would appear to be the likeliest options you're going to need should you find yourself in a need to activate LiveSafe. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's just take a look. Let's say I see something on campus and I want to report a tip, and I click on Report Tips. And is this scientific?
That's exactly what your phone will look like, and you'll notice there's only 12 of them there.
And these are the most common.
The most common ones. So, and of course, there isn't other or suggestions or whatever you need to have. But the last thing we wanted to have is, I know people are going to say, well, what about this? What about that? Last thing we want is you have an important thing you tell us, and you have to go through 90 options. So we went through 12 of the most common ones.
So clearly they're labeled non-emergency. And what I have, if I go back, report tips. That to me automatically sounds like that's not exactly, I better call 911, I'm in trouble.
We'll get to that option in a minute.
That's true. So, of these on our campus, just anecdotally from your experience, what's the most frequent kind of tip?
We get a lot of disturbance calls.
Okay, so let's just see what happens when you click on disturbance.
And basically what you have is there you can type in whatever the disturbance is. You can send a picture, you can send a video, and you can have a text, or and this is all big text chat, and you see the send anonymously block at the bottom, so you can you have that option if you don't want to be identified as the person who is calling this in, and that's what we get a lot. We get a lot of people that they don't want to be the person telling on their fellow student or whatever, this, that, and the other. But there is an issue. I mean, and it's probably, if it's disturbing you, it's probably disturbing somebody else. So they can send pictures or video, and we're not going to bother you. We're just going to go to wherever you tell us to go, and we're going to take care of what needs to take care of.
I can ask to be anonymous here, but at the same time, if I remember right, I'm asked early on in getting the app going if it's okay to make a note of my location. Right?
That is correct.
So even if I didn't type in exactly where I am,
Yeah.
you're going to be able to figure it out based on the coordinates.
We're going to have
of
a
this app.
real good idea based on the GPS in your phone of where
Okay.
you're at. Now, I don't want people to think we're stalking them. It's not going to say you're in room 619, but it is going to show you in the building that you're in. So it's.
Let me ask you something else. As we're looking at this screen, and this is a way I would send a tip for a non-911, but this is under the disturbance and there's something suspicious going on, and I want you to know about it. Is it accepted practice in law enforcement nowadays to encourage folks to use their cameras, or are you encouraging trouble at any level by encouraging that? In other words,
I think they're a fact of life. You know, that just, we're in 2015,
You're
everybody's got a
embracing it.
camera. I mean, if you look at, we're wearing cameras, in the cars and this, that, and the other, and there's nothing wrong with people having cameras. Like I said, in 2015, everybody's got one, and that's just the way it is, and you can argue one way or the other for it, but they're here to stay.
Have we had any incidents on this campus of, I'm trying to imagine a scenario where this might be problematic, but if somebody thought they were witnessing an incident of some sort and they pulled out their camera and started shooting it to say, I've got to record this for, send it over to the lieutenant because I'm worried, and the person who's being shot with the camera says, no, wait a minute, you got this wrong. I mean, it seems like that's an invitation to an altercation of sorts.
Well, it depends on what they're doing. And again, it's not like we're going to go out and you took a video of you doing something that you were doing nothing wrong, and like we're going to share it with the world. It's housed at the police department. It's kept on the server at the police department. It's not like we're going to share it unless you're committing a crime, and then that can be used. That video can then be used in criminal prosecution. So, like I said, it's not like we're YouTubing every single picture they take.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, it's the 21st century, and that's pretty much where we are. So similar reporting screens for the other non-emergency, and then I guess you do indeed have an other down there too, so we're okay with that. Let's go over here, emergency options. That would be pretty straightforward. I'm in a 911 situation.
Yep. And again, you have those three options. Now, the call 911 option on there, that is GPS located. So if you're here on campus, you're going to get the local 911.
I'm not going to test it.
Yeah, we appreciate that. You will get the local 911. And that's just kind of how 911 works. It doesn't go to the police dispatch here on campus because it hits a cell tower, and a cell tower usually hits in Charlotte. So, and then Charlotte has to forward the call to us. So we are encouraging people to use the call campus police option because that is the UNC Charlotte Police Department. The 911 is also, like I said, it was GPS located. So if you're in New York City and you press call 911, it's going to call 911 in New York City. If you press call campus police, that is hardwired to UNC Charlotte. So no matter, you're in New York City, you press call campus police, you're still going to call us here.
But what you just described on that call 911 is really kind of a really cool feature about this, because you could just have in mind, I'm going to go to this app if I see any emergency, and no, you don't have to be at UNC Charlotte to call 911 with this app, so that's great. We see, it seems frequently through national media, stories that really aren't funny. They're kind of in some ways sad, but of folks abusing 911 and calling 911 for non-emergencies, some of which get to be outrageous. But is that a problem on our campus, or?
Not really.
Okay.
We don't have anything. Fortunately, we haven't had anybody that's called for just some ridiculous reason. We do get an abundance of calls, and some are more important than others, and our response is labeled accordingly.
Well, just out of curiosity, and talking about how we're a city unto ourselves, but how active is our, what do we call it, switchboard dispatch?
Our communication center.
How busy is that?
They stay hopping. You got almost 30,000 people here at any peak during the day if you have all our students and faculty staff here, and it creates a lot of calls. And and it's like anything else. There's lulls where we might go an hour or two without a call, and then if something important happens on this campus, the switchboard just lights up. And we got one or two people sitting in dispatch, and they work real hard, and they're trying to send officers to scenes and taking phone calls and this, that, and the other. So, of course, they're also the ones who are manning the dashboard for LiveSafe too. So they're handling those messages, and they're really good at their jobs. So.
Great. We're with Lieutenant Brian Thomas here on the LiveWire, and we're talking about the relatively new safety app for the entire UNC Charlotte community, LiveSafe, and we're doing a bit of a walkthrough here live from our iPad and getting a good sense of what's going on with this app. But then again, I find it fascinating to talk about the work of police and public safety and how much of this stuff is going on around us. And again, it's not necessarily fair to say we take it for granted, but it's good to be reminded that you're there and doing the things you do to make sure we're safe. Let's talk a little bit too about another button on this main menu, the UNC Charlotte Resources. This would be something that you'd use maybe just to refresh your memory on what to do here, right? But
absolutely, you got the emergency procedures up, and you touch on that, and it'll give you all the emergency procedures to do in a myriad of situations.
Sure.
Bomb threats, or evacuations, or chemical spills. It's just a quick reference tab.
I would hope that as a LiveSafe user, I might do some of this just as a reminder in my downtime, because when you see some of these are some pretty serious situations, and I doubt that I would want to go through to remind myself what to do in some of these. But it's really good. Let's just take a look at everybody's favorite adverse weather here, and there you go.
And
so
University weather statement.
It refers to our policy, reminds you. This might be an example of.
They're just different university conditions that we go under for, you most likely see this with snow when we make a determination of whether or not we're staying open or canceling classes or closing the whole university or whatever the situation we're making. And it kind of tells you, depending, usually you see on the university website what status we're in, and this kind of explains that status for you.
So there's about 1 week of the year when this is going to be really busy, right?
It stays hopping.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and then again, several other quite serious things. So get this app if you don't have it already, and then spend some time just reminding yourself, because it also reminds you of the resources that we do have available.
It also puts it, if you look at the bottom there, it's also the campus evacuation plan is there. If you notice, we have the little placards on every stop sign on campus, and the evacuation plan tells you what everything means, and they're on the website as well, the website we referenced earlier. But if you want it quickly and you want it in your pocket, there it is.
Yeah.
So.
Some interesting reading there, and this being an app and being sort of a live and dynamic piece of communications. For instance, when you see something like the plan as of 2015, when there's a plan as of the next time there's a plan, you're just going to,
and
there it goes, and it's up
we've
there.
got a lot of construction on campus, so the plan will change again next year with the changing of Craver Road. So.
Yeah. So it's really just a good overall resource for checking in on that. So let's go back here. The final one, what does GoSafe take me to?
GoSafe is a virtual safe walk. You have the Safe Ride option down there that we went by. That tracks all the buses on campus for Safe Ride. You can, we're just pulling off the parking and transportation services. They have a live link to where you can see where all their buses are on campus. You can ask a friend to walk with you virtually.
So if you clicked on that, it would go into your address book, and you get that set up ahead of time.
So, but they have to live the LiveSafe app as well. So as long as you have the LiveSafe app and the person you are attempting to contact has the LiveSafe app, what you can do is it will send a message out to your friend that says, hey, and you can select as many people from your friend list as you want to walk with you, and it'll pop up on their screen that'll show their GPS location. You can even have a text chat with them while you go and say, hey, I'm walking into here, maybe the parking lot's not very well lit. And at the top of the screen, there's a call 911 button. Just in case, you're walking with them and all of a sudden things turn bad, you can press call 911 and boom, you're going to get connected to the police department right away.
And going back to that idea of trying to instill community in policing, community policing, this is quite actually trying to instill sort of a community sense within LiveSafe. And if your roommate or your office colleague or whomever is also on LiveSafe, and who knows, it's 9 o'clock, a little later in the year, it's dark, you're getting out of your class or heading home finally, as most of us do at 9 o'clock.
We'd love to walk everybody to their car and everything else, but the fact is there's probably 4 or 5 of us on duty, and there's 10,000 people here. So like I said, this gives them a chance to reach out to their friends, and like I said, it gives them an exact GPS location of where they're at. They can have a text chat, lets them know what's going on. So it's really a nice tool. Yeah.
All right. So again, this is for the most part, this is what you see when you go into LiveSafe. Are there other things we want to try up here?
Most of that stuff that you'll find through here. Your campus map is, and this is also under the resources tab, but you can. It gives you a map of campus, and it tells you all of the buildings on campus. And if you, so you can kind of know where you're going. Hopefully you won't have to carry that paper map with you and look new.
Sure.
And if you go back to the Find a Buildings tab that was in the previous screen,
Okay,
yeah, you can go back up there again. Can't find campus buildings right underneath it. So.
Got it.
It uses the GPS in your phone. So you pick whatever building you want to go to on campus, and you touch on it. And as long as your GPS is enabled on your phone, it will give you just like driving directions, just like if you were to use, the GPS on your phone to find any building.
Yeah.
This lists all of them alphabetically on campus. You pick which phone you want. You enable it. You say, "Give me directions," and it'll walk you right to that building.
That's great. So then when we go home, we're back to this pretty simple, straightforward reminder. And again, let's take one more look online and tell folks that if you go up here, emergency.uncc.edu, you don't need that /LiveSafe. Just
That's
go
correct.
to this basic site here. Over here on the options, click on LiveSafe, and everything you need to know about this app, you're going to find. And then go ahead and get this downloaded for free onto your probably most useful as you suggested on your phone.
Yeah, it's for your iPhone or for your Android device, and it tells you the minimum operating systems. I think it's iOS 7 and Honeycomb that it has to be on. So you do have to have a data plan to use this. And again,
Sure.
we still have the text messaging, and I don't want to begrudge it. It's still great if you're still on flip phones or you don't have a data plan or whatever. And even if you do have this, there's nothing wrong with signing up for text alerts too.
Sure.
Because we'd rather tell you twice than not tell you at all if we have an emergency.
No, and I think
So-
as we said too, it is the case that there's not one single solution to everything. This is a great additional solution, and for many people it would be a primary solution, and for others it would be, good to know you have this, and I'm doing what I do too. But one more really important step. Now you started to roll this out when?
We rolled it out in spring, and basically it was just a tentative rollout. We wanted to make sure everything was working because we didn't want to go live with it and still have bugs in the system. So
Right.
We started rolling it out in spring. We went live over the summer, and like I said, we wanted to make sure we were online for the start of the new school year. So it's like I said, we've had I think close to 2,000 downloads already. So
That's great.
Our numbers are off and running, and we're hoping to promote it at every chance we get.
And you're not really tracking who the people are. So do you have any sense though of whether you have a disproportionate number of students, or you wish you had more students, or you just wish you had more of everybody at this
Well, we're
point?
trying, and again, we can go into, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but for the people that are worried about being tracked, we can't track you unless you initiate a conversation with us. So if you push report tips or you call us, yes, it's going to give us your location. But
Location, but you're not going to know who I am.
But I can't track you. I can't just say, well, Stephen Ward decided that we want to know where he's at right now. We'll go into LiveSafe and find him. I can't.
Yeah.
The only thing I can do is when you reach out to us first via the app, then we know where you're at. So for people that think they're being followed or whatever by.
Now you said 911 would work if I were anywhere in the country. Is that is it the case then that you want folks to use this somehow off campus, or this is really aimed at on-campus utility?
It's got a number of different tools to it. It does, obviously, mainly the call campus police options are really for when you're on campus, but that's safe walk work anywhere you want to go.
Okay.
All those options, when we went into the UNC Charlotte Resources, it's got a ton of phone numbers for services both on campus, and you'll see it says non-campus resources too. So for, the local hospitals, things of that nature, anything that you would want to use locally, like I said, it's all built in there. And we want people to, to use it in that effect, rather than, I think we've gone away from the world of big yellow phone books and stuff like that. But this kind of puts the phone book of the numbers that we deemed really, really important right there into one spot, and you can kind of scroll through them. It's got, and like I said, a whole world of safety tips in there too. So.
I notice, it's obvious when you're first setting this up, you download it and you go into input your settings and explain that you're at UNC Charlotte. It does pop up with several other campuses here in this part of the state, or it is. I'm not sure why I would want to, but if, for instance, if I wanted Winthrop University, could I do Winthrop University?
If you decided, you left here and you decided to go to Winthrop or vice versa, you just went back into your settings, changed your parent school. and all of their options would pop up. I think Wake Forest has gone live with it, and I want to say Western. Don't quote me on that one off the top of my head. But yeah, so if you go to another school, you just basically go in and you change your favorite school in there, and if you're at somewhere else, and boom, all of their information pops up.
Sure. This is a product that's being marketed nationally and being embraced nationally. Do you have any idea how many other universities across the country have signed on with LiveSafe?
I want to say there's about around 30 now, but again, don't quote me on those numbers. I'm not a LiveSafe representative.
Are there similar products and things other schools are doing?
This is the latest of technology, and of course, there's always the competition, and there's probably 5 or 6 different companies that are all running similar items, and we sampled them all. We wanted to figure out what is best for UNC Charlotte, and we went through, everybody's got their own idea of what they think is important. This one we felt gave us the most information, gave us the most options, and had been tried by the most other universities with success. It's nice sometimes you get an offer from a startup to really get in on the ground floor, but you're not always guaranteed the product works. So this one, some of the other schools, I know Arizona State was on this, that, and the other. Some other schools had already tried it and had great success with it. So we wanted to go with a proven winner. And after sampling way too many of them, we settled on LiveSafe.
Yeah. Well, it's nice, it's handy, and if I can do it, anyone can do it. So that's pretty good. So all right. Well, we really appreciate you coming by, Lieutenant Brian Thomas of Police and Public Safety, who is also the Emergency Management Coordinator, among many hats. You're not wearing your hat now, but if you were wearing your hat, it would be one of many. So, but we really appreciate you coming by, and as always, and as I suggested earlier, just hearing any aspect of the work you guys do over there is interesting, informative, and really important for all of us to understand and appreciate. And so we appreciate that, and thank you for coming
having us on.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back again this year to talk about other things or follow up on LiveSafe as well. And thank you again for joining us on the LiveWire, and we'll be back again next time. And you can catch this program in perpetuity on YouTube, so be sure to check out this and any other LiveWire that you may have missed over the summer. We had some pretty good shows, and much more to come as this new year is underway now in full force. So we'll see you again next time, and thanks again for joining us.